Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we're gonna take a look at an unbelievable strong team here for the Summer Cup. But before we start into the video, feel free to smash that like button, would really appreciate it, helps out the channel quite a lot and it's free. So, we're going to have a team here that I already showcased in the top 10 teams for the Summer Cup video, which is also going to be linked in the end card. So, this team is one of the best, if not the best in my opinion, team for the current meta. Why is this the case? It is just basically a lot of the top tier Pokemon. We're going to have the Toxapex, which is the rank 1 Pokemon on PvPoke. We're going to have the Swap of the Vigoroth, which, you know, at this point already, basically any kind of limited meta where Vigoroth is available, like this Pokemon is just dominating. And it's the same here. And in the back we have TREVENANT, a Pokemon that recently got a not really big buff, but a quite decent buff, I would say, with Seed Bomb doing 5 more damage, which can impact some battles, but honestly, the amount of TREVENANT that you see now is quite mad. But yeah, this team here kinda was a little bit tough in the beginning to play, but this was not based on the team itself, but just because I got hard-walled the entire time. But still, there were so many hard walls here that I came back from with this team, which is really cool to see, because this kind of means that even against like bad matchups, it can still climb against. And we're gonna see some of this today here as well. So let's move on to the next opponent. Hardest wall for the Toxapex is of course here Germnaa, or not literally the other way around here. So this is going to be a great matchup for us. We can just take advantage. And if you're in those matchups where you really have a really good matchup for you going on, just go ahead and try to get the most amount of energy as possible. Because the opponent doesn't do damage against you, you just do damage with a Faust move already to farm them all the way down. And just getting free energy can help you out throughout the entire battle, basically. Here the Emolga gets to an Acrobatics, which kinda hurt more than I expected, but what you're gonna see as well is after I know now that I lose the CMP tie, I decide to overfarm. Because I know that I lose the CMP tie, my best bet here is just to go ahead and go for the double body slam. I still survive this one, which is quite important. Now I can knock them out and basically align myself. Alignment is key because we know already there is that Azumarill. Azumarill is still fine for my Pokemon in the back, but Azumarill is just doing nothing against our Toxapex, and for whatever reason, they still decide to stay in against us. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but it's going to be fine. Ice Beam coming through, very nice for us, because look at this, we are now at 100 energy. There's literally zero reason for us to throw any energy against the opponent. We are just going to take this matchup. As you guys see here, there's a Typhlosion lurking in the back. And I thought at this point that the opponent still has 2 shields, but they only have 1 shield and now 0 shields, and so that Brian is going to be able to connect. But you know, we kind of still have to troll here a little bit, so why not try to catch a move? If this would be a Blast Burn, this might knock me out. It was not, but yeah, that's going to be just a little bit of a troll, and we can move on to the next battle. Again, actually quite an okay lead. Again, like the battles are, by the way, kind of randomized, which always happens for those videos. Also, if you don't want to miss any new video on this channel as well, feel free to do a subscription on this channel as well for free. Just hit the subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. But yeah, anyway, we're going to see here the Mantine having a pretty neutral matchup against the Toxapex. And I kind of want to take a look at something here on the side real quick, which because I always like to look up those matchups real quick here as well, if there is a chance for the opponent to align themselves. But I don't think there is actually. I think it's just like very, very good for us because we're just so neutral. And yes, Toxapex wins even the 1 to 2 shield scenario. So if the opponent uses 1 extra shield buff like what we use, we still win the matchup, which is quite mad. Anyway, we're going to be able to now get out the opponent's Charger Bug, where we can still get some damage on them here with a Brine. And we can go back into our TREVENANT. But we're now a little bit in a tough spot because the opponent is going to be able to go for an Exeter. They have quite a lot of energy. And they have to call me like going for like a bait here or something. But I decided to go for the Shadow Ball, and they're actually going to be able to call that correctly, which can be quite awkward. So let's see what they're going to have here in the back. They're going to decide to swap onto the Toxapex. And my hope is that I can connect that Shadow Ball. Please let the move go through. This would be so important. Let's take a look at this. Boom. This is so important. Toxapex itself can be a little bit of an issue for this team. All Pokemon are very neutral against it, but there's like just no hard answer to it on this team at least. And the opponent makes a crucial mistake here by going for that shield. This is going to be so nice for us because now we can just overfarm always up to 2 charge moves without having to worry about anything. We don't have to overfarm as much as we would have needed if they didn't use the shield there, and so this is looking great for us. Body Slam coming through, going to be able to connect and knock them out. And in comes again a Charger Bug here. This is going to be able to knock them out as well, and so we can win this battle. As said before, we had quite a lot of ground type Pokemon in the lead, and yeah, ground type Pokemon are just basically the biggest weakness, or kinda even the only weakness in this current cup for our lead. There are basically next to Psychic type Pokemon in this meta, I feel like. Like, you can use Victini, I think, which is an interesting Pokemon, which I maybe want to take a look at as well, because I just like Victini, to be fair. Like, but it's even not really a Psychic type Pokemon as well, because you don't really run a Psychic type move on it. You can run Psychic, but Psychic is quite bad. And otherwise, you have Girafarig available, you have Bruxish, you have the Alolan Raichu, the Armarouge, and the Oranguru as like the best Pokemon. If you see already those names, you know already that none of them going to be really good in this meta either. So yeah, like, it is definitely going to be quite an easy task here for our lead to take the Psychic type Pokemon down, because they just don't really exist. Anyway, we're going to see here that we can still align ourselves, which is quite important for this matchup. This is a cool thing as well for the Vigoroth. They are just going for the Body Slam against the Ghost type is still enough, and also we can align ourselves now with our Trevenant against the Quagsire, and that's what I kind of said before as well. I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to win the battle here, but at least we have a way better shot now, and this is a cool thing about this team. Vigoroth is just so strong in this current meta that alignment is quite easily to gain. And as you're going to see, we can knock them out here, and let's take a look what they have in the back. It is going to be their Toxapex, and so we can try to reach for that Shadow Ball. We can reach the Shadow Ball, and so it's Toxapex against a half HP Toxapex, and we can easily win this battle, and of course the opponent knows it as well. They still try to take a look at how much damage they can do here. They don't do enough, and so they forfeit this battle. Next opponent. Toxapex against Toxapex. I think this might be the first battle that I actually did with this. It is actually not the first battle that I did with this team, because I know that I encountered a Toxapex with 1500 CP against me, I think, in my first battle, which is coming up eventually as well. But here, you just have to play the matchup out. Like, you just have to play the matchup out. They swap into the Charger Bug. I feel like I make a little bit of a mistake here by deciding to stay in here and go for a Sludge Wave. I could have just swapped straight away into my Trevenant. It is not, like, crucial either. But we're going to be forced to use a shield here, which is kind of annoying, which is what it is, but we can just get at least a ton of energy here, which is quite nice. Issue is, the opponent has some energy on the Toxapex as well, and so, yeah, I am going to be forced to use another shield here on a potential Sludge Wave, which they don't have. They have Gang Shot, which is hilarious. I like this. I honestly like Gang Shot on Toxapex as well. I think I made a video about this before as well, I think. Gang Shot on Toxapex does make a lot of sense for this meta. Definitely a good shout. I think it's a cool, fun move to go for. Doesn't really help them. It could. They would be able to two-shot me here if they would go for that. But for whatever reason, they decide to maybe go for it. We have to find out here. We're going to be able to go for another Sludge Wave before they can go for another charge move. They swap out. They swap out into their Vigoroth. And so we can get some nice damage onto them. I was forcing them to go for a charge move here. And it's still not over. It is still not over in both directions though. Like, I'm not too sure we can win this battle. It is going to be tough. They definitely overfarm by quite a lot here with their own Vigoroth. I can still get my charge move off here, but like, can we still win this battle? Can we? We can still farm them down though. Can we farm down also the Toxapex? We can, and we can win this battle. Next opponent, look at this, another ground type, and yeah, this is like just something that happened quite commonly here right now, which is like really annoying, because I don't know, I'm not too sure if we're actually going to have throughout the entire battles, if you would do like more battles, an encounter rate of a ground type. I think it was like above 50%, to be fair, like around 50%, so I don't think this is going to be something that would go on the entire way through. So like, most likely would even have better results with this team on like a normal day, but this team still was working out super well for me. I think I went 7-3 with this, maybe even 8-2, not too sure. I think 7-3 it was. But yeah, this team definitely has so much potential, and I had very bad matchups. Like, I had very bad hard counter matchups, and I still came back from so many of them, which was just great to see. Here, I'm going to try to get as much energy as possible, just to also retaliate against the Quagsire, which is most likely coming back in afterwards, as I can go for some charge moves against them. Not too sure if a resisted Sludge Wave does more than a non-resisted Brine. The thing is, Brine is a pretty bad move, and Sludge Wave is a pretty decent move, so Brine is just not really doing a lot of damage usually. I'm just gonna take a look at this side here real quick as well. If for Quagsire it does more damage. Brine does 38 damage, and Sludge Wave does 5 more damage with 43. If you only get to one move, Brine is going to be worse, but if you get to multiple moves, Brine is going to be better in terms of damage per energy. But here we're gonna see sadly a matchup that is just not winnable. It's going to be the Wigglytuff in the back, and we're just going to forfeit here. Weekly Tough is usually not an issue for this team. Yeah, this was actually the first build that I did, by the way, because this is the 1500 CP Toxapex that I was talking about. But basically, Weekly Tough is not really an issue for this team. This team is a really good, basically designed to counter Weekly Tough as well. We have the hardest answer to Weekly Tough in the lead. We have a Say Swap that is decent against Weekly Tough, but mostly you're going to be able to bait it out because they want to avoid the lead. And then we have in the back a Pokemon that really does not want to face Weekly Tough. So like, honestly, I feel like this team is one of the most consistent ones that you can build for the Summer Cup for sure. The thing is, you will most likely going to encounter quite a lot of people that are going to try to counter this one, and so you have to just be aware of that. But still, I think this is going to be a very good team to use for you if you want to climb some elo. I was talking about it in the top team video as well. This team has basically no weakness. Of course, if you're gonna get completely hardwalled, you're going to lose those battles as well. But like, this happens to any kind of team. Like, there's not a single team that cannot get hardwalled. But against like any normal scenario, you're going to basically have always an answer for this team. And this is just like something that you barely really see nowadays, to be fair. Most teams have like somewhat of a weakness. I have not really seen a single weakness for this team. I have to say that I have not seen a single like big weakness. By the way, look at this. Bye-bye. Goodbye, TREVENANT. We have a mirror match here the entire time going on. And this was like so hilarious. First battle that I did. Maybe they watched the video as well for the top teams. Who knows? But like, this is the mirror match, and I was just able to come up on top there because I just played a little bit better than the opponent. But still a good game there if you watched that. Yeah, cool team. Hopefully you still get some wins as well like I did here, but look at this again, another ground type. Ground types have been everywhere, and ground types is going to be quite awkward to deal with. But anyway, we're going to see here the opponent having a Toxapex in the back as well, and that's just like something that you're going to have to deal with as well, especially in this cup. Especially in this cup, which is going to be quite, yeah, I don't know, like very small in terms of the meta. Like, the meta is going to be kind of similar. The thing is just that with this, you're going to have a lot of similar type of Pokemon that can like beat certain things. So you have Toxapex that can beat like all the grass type Pokemon, all the fairy type Pokemon, and then you have like the TREVENANT, which can beat all the fighting type and water type Pokemon and ground type Pokemon. And so like, you're going to have always those kind of polarizing matchups with certain Pokemon that you can sometimes just come on, like, not on top basically of it, because you're just going to get hardwalled from it from the get-go. And that's just the thing that's going to happen for this cup right now. Like, it's just something that you kind of have to be aware of. You most are not going to get a 100% win rate with a team, which you're never going to get anyway. So there's always going to be some losses, and accept those team losses, because like, that is just going to happen. But still, this team was amazing. I still came back from a lot of very hard matchups, and so would really recommend you to give this team a try if you have the Pokemon build. I think Toxapex had it recently in an event. We had the Halloween events always for the TREVENANT and for Vigoroth. We currently have an event, which is kind of funny, so nobody can complain about Vigoroth being too rare as well. It's literally spawning everywhere right now. And even better, it has a cool cap on as well, which is even, like, honestly, like, that's all we kind of need in the world, is just costume Pokemon. Still, I kind of want to make, hopefully a video as well, but just in general, I want to go to an official tournament, maybe next year eventually, and just run those costume Pokemon. That's like one of my big goals still for Pokemon Go PvP. Just run only costume Pokemon, see if I can go far with it, because you have Quagsire, being one of the best Pokemon as well currently in the meta. Like, currently at the NASC, Quagsire is everywhere as well, which is kind of cool, as you're gonna see it literally in both of the last matchups here in the lead. This Pokemon was just like, is just so amazing currently, which has also like already a special form on it. We have the Vigoroth, we have the Umbreon, we have the Ninetales as well, the normal Ninetales with the costumes. So like, there are a lot of good PvP Pokemon already with costumes, and so it's going to be a fun one. Anyway, here's the kind of how you would usually get out the Weekly Tough in a normal circumstances. Here, you bait them out with the Vigoroth, and now you don't have to deal with them with the Pokemon that we have in the back here, which is quite nice. And hopefully this is the only answer that they really have for TREVENANT. We don't know, but we even get a shield advantage here, which is going to be lovely. Anyway, let's take a look at this one. We can farm them down, we can swap out immediately, and as the opponent stays in here, I'm fairly certain that they don't have a hard answer in the back, and so I still decided to use a shield here on a potential Stone Edge, which is going to work out. And look at this, it's going to be a victory bell, and with this, we're just going to end this video with a nice sweep here from the TREVENANT. Boom, knocking out the first one. Gonna go up to the Seed Bomb and taking down the Quagsire. This team is lovely, really recommend you to try it out. Fun one to play as well, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, again, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.